Welcome to Bramble Jelly, Meghan.
Thank you for having me, Gordon.
I'm joined today by Meghan Spurlock, who is a 3D animator and art director. I guess in your own words, I'd love to hear your origin story.
I did nearly go into sort of like biological sciences and stuff. In a way, I felt like art was more of a challenge and therefore more interesting because it was subjective. I felt like if I went into something sort of science-based, like, oh, you study, you learn the facts, you get a job doing whatever, and off you go. Whereas art was kind of a bit more of a black box, and I didn't really know what was, and so that was just kind of intrigued me more, and I was like, oh, it seems more interesting and challenging. Did my degree in illustration, actually, rather than animation. It had a slight animation component to it. Finished uni, and then started going into animation from there, really. That's kind of just how my sort of like progression has gone.
There are elements of animation that are quite, not scientific, but there is almost like that mythology. There's a methodology to it, which does that scratch that part of your brain?
I think so, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Especially when I get into 3D stuff, because I absolutely get lost in figuring things out. You have to really enjoy problem solving because it so often throws up problems at you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that sort of like problem solving side of it definitely keeps me engaged.
Where does personal projects sit for you? Yeah, just talk me through your relationship with personal projects.
Quite important, I think, because a lot of people in the industry talk about burnout, and I can say I've never been burnt out. I don't really put much pressure on myself with client work. I mean, obviously I want to do a good job, I want the client to be happy, I want them to come back to me, I want more money.
Yeah.
But I don't really get too bent out of shape if they want something that I don't think is great, because it's their money. They can have what they want. But I am a creative person and I do want to do creative things. So for me, that's a lot of my energy goes into my personal projects. And also I use them for learning and exploring. And it's not always necessarily something that I show people. It's just something that I do client work to feed the bank account, and I do personal work to feed my creative soul.
Yeah, it's so crucial to like do stuff for yourself. Kais, I've actually interviewed Kais a few episodes prior, and we were talking a lot about like thinking about personal projects almost like a little gift to our younger selves.
Yeah, exactly. It's the grown-up version of when you just sat down with crayons or Play-Doh or even Lego and just made whatever you felt like doing. It is to me, one of the bigger downsides of the big push, although I feel like people are moving away from it, but social media, when it became so big and such a kind of key part of creating, is now a lot of stuff gets turned into, if you start doing something, people are like, oh, you could turn that into a side hustle or find a client for that. You could just enjoy it.
Late stage capitalism has drilled it into all of us to earn money. Yeah,
the value of our artistic creation is how much money we can make from it or what clients we can get from it, rather than actually, this brings me joy.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful segue onto chatting about your latest short film.
Okay.
Yeah, talk me through your process of Hamwall.
Yeah, so Hamwall is my short animation that I finished, and I did work on it for probably off and on, maybe almost 18 months, because I was doing it around client work for the most part. It's more of a snapshot of a sort of a day or whatever at a nature reserve, which is called Hamwall, which is where the name comes from. People always like, what is
Yeah, what is the Hamwall?
Yeah, where's the ham? When I started the project, I had a few shorts that I had started on that were kind of narrative based, and I could never pin down a narrative that I was happy with. And I was like, well, this is just getting in the way of me doing anything. Forget about a narrative, let's just do something that's kind of nice and relaxing. I mean, that's something that I would be interested in seeing, so I might as well make it. I quite like birds in general, and so it's like I get to explore these forms, I get to come up with a style, model them, texture them, rig them, animate them. So I'll be making myself do a lot of things in Cinema 4D to get better at.
And in some ways it's almost like a nature documentary in the making. You've built these little scenes and then captured them. So yeah, it was a really interesting approach, I think. It's really cool.
It did. I mean, it did end up biting me in the butt a little bit because I got about 2/3 of the way through with a lot of scenes and I put them together and I was like, oh, this is really like disjointed.
Okay, yeah.
Because surprisingly, if you don't plan out, it can kind of lack that sort of structure.
Yeah.
So I did have to then go back to the drawing board and figure out like, okay, I've got these scenes and I want to keep these scenes, but how do I make them fit together a bit better? So then I need to come up with some new scenes and maybe change a little bit of the older ones. But it did work for me because it freed me up from feeling any stress about it, I suppose. I kind of just, it allowed me to have it on the back burner while I worked around it.
This thing that's consumed you is suddenly gone.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, like, what do I fill this hole with now?
Oh,
you know?
interesting. For me, it was a bit of a relief to have it done. Because it was like, I was always in the back of my mind, it's like, oh, I need to finish Hamwall. I need to get that done. I think it's so easy for us, especially in the industry, to start a personal project and then you kind of like put it off to the side because it's not working or something's kind of like challenging about it. So you leave it. And so I was very keen not to abandon Hamwall. So when I got it done, I just felt like relief, pride and joy and relaxation. It's not that I stopped doing anything. I just picked up some hobbies that aren't really...
Yes.
I started sewing and stuff like that. I was like, okay, I'm going to do something a little bit different for a while. But I think that's an important part of the creative process as well, is to kind of get sort of like a completely different bit of your brain working.
And maybe being dramatic about the post-project grief, it's more like, I think when I first finish something, I'm kind of like, oh, I don't want to see this ever again. And then maybe like a month or two later, you suddenly see it in this new light where you're like, oh yeah. I made that.
I've always found it hard to look at my work post sort of completion, for sure. So it's been interesting to go to festivals a couple of times and watch Hamwall or to watch other people watching it. It is a very strange experience at times, I think.
I think because you spend so much time with it alone and then suddenly you're with so many others seeing it.
Yeah,
you shouldn't
definitely
be seeing this. This is really
yeah,
weird.
it feels very, almost like a diary or something. So if anyone has like even the smallest critique, you're like, oh God.
You hate me? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, you're basically saying I'm shit.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I'm starting to really reflect on what inspires me. Was there a particular thing that you were drawn to when you were younger?
Really young childhood, I was really into Richard Scarry. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Obsessed with the little Apple car.
Yeah. Yeah. It was very textural as well, that illustration. And I think as well, a lot of those books weren't really storybooks. They were more like encyclopedias almost. It was just like scenes that had labels on them and stuff rather than like a plot. When I was younger, my favorite book was this encyclopedia of endangered animals or something. And every sort of spread was like one full page, really beautiful illustration of some animal. And then the second page was just really dense, actual very scientific copy. And I would make my dad read to me from that. That sort of stuff was really what I was into. When I want inspiration, I want something I've never seen before, something that's completely outside of my sort of little bubble. Just like constantly have a long list of art books that I like. And if I'm feeling a bit bored, I'll just buy a book and look through it. That seems to be my weird old-timey preference over scouring Instagram for things, because I think Instagram doesn't show me enough stuff that's new or unexpected, because it does this whole algorithm thing. It's always showing you things that it thinks are kind of
linked before.
Trying to
Meghan,
get
I think is your dog snoring?
Oh yeah, probably.
I was thinking, well, what is the noise coming through the headphones here?
Oh, he's literally...
What's his name?
He's just Mr. Gatsby. I might show him so people can see.
Yeah, there is actually though.
What's causing this noise. Sorry, Mr. G.
Aww.
He's literally just like draped over my lap. Mr. G.
Meghan, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, thanks, Gordo. I wish we had more time. That makes it sound very ominous, doesn't it? The asteroid's going to hit. But luckily we've done this short talk about animation before we all die.
Yes. I've been looking into the best methods of resisting authoritarian governments for no reason. Joy, acts of joy and being positive are radical acts of resistance, is what I'm putting out there into the world. So I think we need more joy. Yeah. If I can give a little slice of a 5-minute smile to someone in these crazy times, and I feel like, it's a job well done.
Yeah, the media that is front and centre for us is very negative. Yeah. And there's actually a lot of good news out there as well. So I like making things that are fun and happy. I like bringing joy to the world. That's my main go with my art. Thanks so much for having me, and Mr. G, who's added his own sound effects to the anime or to this recording.
It's very cute. Where can people find you?
MeghanSpurlock.com or at Meghan Spurlock on Instagram. Megan with an H.
I'll put the links in the things down below.
Awesome.
Before we go though,
Yes.
could I interest you in playing a game?
Oh, yes. I'd love to play a game.
Ooh.